And you can't be single eliminated in the playoffs. So I think it's such an important win for FUT as well. I definitely don't think they're going to give it up just because BBL want to get to the playoffs.
No, I don't think so. This is a big matchup for the side of FUT. Even if the stakes were low, I'd expect them to come in swinging to try and take down the regional rivals of BBL. And FUT, as we saw, put CNET on that raise. We've been praising his Jet quite extensively. I'm excited to see what he can do on this agent as well. He's never been a slacker. Yeah,
on this map, he was playing Sage. They've tried Raze. They've tried a few different things. Even at one point, we've seen him on Neon on this map. But the fact is, it definitely hasn't been the most comfortable of choices, especially when you compare to Kushner on the other side. But I'm never going to down CNET in any of these scenarios. And he may not be in spot for this round. But you've got both initiators there. A lot of information available to them. And already with the knife being shot, okay, it doesn't get them all the info, but it gets them in.
Might not have the Dizzy to work with, but still a flash on Cracks as well. BBL have their own, though. Breezy lining up the dog right now. It's gone through. Flash on the back of it, you'd imagine. No, just a straight up swing. The flash comes behind Kushner, letting him get close to take these fights and win them. Nice little double to open things up. Brave, the one to find that second, as FUT now find themselves locked out of B. And it's going to be tough to find their way back through. They've got a Viper wall to try and block out those longer range angles, but BBL have taken a lot of their players onto the site.
Needed a kill, and not going to find one. Breezy already there. Brave alongside it. It's not quite flawless, but it's as clean as for BBL. A huge start for them. In a match that says it's integral for them to make it through to the playoffs. A victory not only takes them to playoffs, but also wins them the group. That's how crazy this scenario is right now. They lose this series 2-0, they're out. They win it in any capacity, and they win the group. It's just ridiculous how this Alpha group has ended up.
I don't recall stakes like this ever.
It's insane.
One match for first or bottom. Yeah. Incredible. I suppose it wouldn't be the bottom, right? That slot's already occupied, but, well, you're not really going to care if you're the first or second loser. All that matters is you ain't going to playoffs. For BBL, already one round under their belt. A big stack up from FUT, trying to use the firing squad of classics, and that has worked out very well. Damage is done, but converting any further should be quite difficult.
Oh, you say that. Who's the last man standing, Mitch?
Oh, add a captain with a classic.
Add a captain with a classic.
Enzo's sweating backstage.
Well, a chance, but yeah, it's a very slim one. They've retrieved the guns as well. Take those through to the next round. The thing is, this BBL squad at times has been incredibly explosive. That's always one of the worries. Like, there was a chance they came into this match where they're in the same position as FUT, but they're just battling for the top of the group. They didn't need anything for qualification, but as you said, Liquid did the business earlier on. But it does seem like they're still going into this as confident as ever. Knowing that the stakes there. And there is also a world, I want to say this, if they lose 2-1, there's a pretty decent chance they still qualify as long as the game is close. If they get smashed in the 2 maps and then win one close, maybe there's a way that they get eliminated. But I would say that that's a lot less likely.
Yeah, there's a couple clear-cut paths to playoffs for some of these teams, and then the rest of it gets pretty murky when it comes down to the most math behind it.
Just win.
Exactly. You win,
or you're in the
you have a better chance.
That was it. That was Sue's quote.
There
I
you
remember.
Go.
I pay attention.
Sometimes. Well, it's rifle round for FUT. About to have a fight on his hands. It was just poor as the smoke faded. He's able to win that one pretty easily. Getting out of there with most of his HP. Utility still rocked up on that attack side, and no need to push. No overextension from the attackers. Confident now that they've got the advantage. They'll let the clock run down and hope FUT make another mistake.
Bizi orada ilerleme. Eyvah.
50%.
Tamam, güzel yere
of that information. They're going to go hunting for the rest. The timing on the Tiger, not the best, and not able to correct. It's a good recovery, and actually CNET continues to push. If he goes any further, he's going to end up spotting the spike. This could be a huge problem for his opponents. It's going to be retrieved, or it just about makes it around the corner. However, that's so much info for the rest of the team. Yedege is there to kick things off and give them that advantage.
Yeah, Cracks has even got some support to play with here. Not able to use the flash up because he blind Yedege, but he's got his gun in hand, ready to duel, and the swing is good. FUT right back on the board. One round found.
Bir tane çıkarsa çok iyi olacak
BBL,
ya. Bomba bir de
they're not
terste
going to be
kaldı.
devastated by that loss. Remember, this is the 3rd round. One that they're not favored to win, and it came down to a decent margin up until these last few fights, which was utter domination. But they found the opening duel, and then lost out a little bit on the map control. With a well-timed push out of FUT, through hookah. Round 4 sees that full buy right back up though. A few players getting close to ultis as well. We could have a pit or an orbital strike for either side.
Still plenty
Sıkıntı
available.
yok arkadaşlar. Çektik silahı.
But as you said, it's still just down to the firefights. Spreading an early net just to try and catch any aggression. They know that FUT will like to push them on this one. Obviously for BBL, this has been one of the maps they've struggled on a little bit more, losing in this split the Giant X in fairly dominant fashion. And then losing to Koi as well. They're not the teams you really want to be losing on a map to. It probably tells you everything you need to know. For FUT,
bence gene gideriz buraya.
Close loss to KC.
Güzel orb aldık.
It's been pretty stellar on this map. For now though, it's slow from BBL. Taking their time. Shower's control has been fought for and claimed.
Bu arada B'ye çok iyi 3 çektik. Yani istediğimizi yaptık aslında.
Burada
çok fazla kill vermeden girersek eğer müthiş olur ama onlar da tabii infoyu aldı.
Happy to get their toxins back online before they make this push. I'd imagine. Never mind. They're going straight out ahead of it, looking for some fights. It looks like they're soon to get them. The bait as the plant is faked to attempt to draw them into open combat. Blast back used, mosh pit in. The utility response is there from FUT, but there seems to be a response from BBL. They want to get aggressive. Kushner swinging through the smoke is being caught. Yedishe finds Reezy, but BBL still have one player left behind on the side. Elite trapped. Already having taken down Mr. Fallen, it looks like he'll just about escape, but they're on his tail. About to see this double TP straight through. They know he's still inside. And a captain has confirmed that it is now. Closing the distance on the door. They'll open it, presumably with that snake bite, and leave Elite down in the dumps. In fact, no, rotating around. In a long way.
It's just patience.
Now the captain will get it anyways.
Yeah, I think that he just waited for the moment that his teammates can go through the TP, knowing that he would eventually have to leave. This now leaves things in a pretty problematic scenario for the remaining pair of BBL. Aura's going to try and get aggressive. He's doing the line, and the timing couldn't have been any worse. Now it's all over for Brave, and it's a couple of tasty shots. A little bit unlucky not to get both. But nonetheless, the round has gone the way of FUT. And they will equalize early on.
No accounting for the fire rate, but if he had a Vandal, that could have worked out perfectly.
Do you know something cool, by the way?
left on CNET. What's that?
Now, someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure if both of these teams qualify, then every single Turkish player in EMEA will have made it into the playoffs, which is 13 Turkish players.
Can't think of a solo Turkish player left out.
Obviously, yeah, you've got Alpha as well. You've got the guys over on Heretics. But that is impressive. 13 players in 6 different teams. You're getting close to 50% of the entire thing being Turkish players.
Listen, Tom,
taken over.
You go back to 2021, 2022 and tell me in the future you're going to have half the league be Turkish players. I believe you. I wouldn't think you're crazy. I'd understand it entirely. The region's only grown as younger talent comes up. Shows what they can do. It's good to see players like CNET, though, still around, and I think this year as well, having that massive resurgence. He'd been good before, great in the past, and now back to excellence. This BBL side looking to take over A with the weaker weapons. They've gotten a lot of space out of this. The utility sure delays the plant slightly, but at the end of the day, they're waiting for FUT to run out of utility and have to take these fights with weapons in hand. That's when the numbers advantage could come into play. Orbital strike used here by Brave to isolate some fights, then Showstopper comes online. Fired to heaven. Not a great angle for it, and not one that will find a connection. Seen it again on a sliver of health late in the round, but he's surviving, and these shots are not landing. Reezy on 20 HP, flanked out by Yedishe, leaves Elite with absolutely nothing to do. In fact, it's even seen it on 2 health to swing and find the last kill.
Just see that things. I feel like he gets stronger as the round goes on. The more health he loses, the higher his headshot percentages. It's definitely absurd. And that's a round where, again, if you look at what was invested in terms of finances for BBL, you go, plant, it's not too bad. The unfortunate truth is what they invested in the ultimates. You got yourself the orbital strike and the showstopper. I'm not gonna lie, that's making my feet shake.
And this is only the start of the first map, Tom. Plenty more to go. But like you said, BBL committed a lot. That orbital strike, that showstopper, not finding the win. It was with low buy, and I can respect the hustle to come in on a low buy round and say, hey, we're going to bridge the gap somehow. This is how we do it. Isolating fights off orbital strike, using showstopper, didn't work. This showstopper, little bit better. Right at Reezy's feet as Krax pushes up to claim control of Batch. Backed up by Yedishe, although that support was not really needed. BBL found themselves investing all their credits into this one after using ultis in the previous, and now, a matter of seconds into the round, Tom, they have been put in their place. The fourth round seeming inevitable for FUT at this stage.
Well, this is the thing when you're playing up against FUT. They are a team that you might look at some of their compositions and go, okay, this is fairly conventional. That doesn't mean they're going to use it in a conventional way. They are very aggressive in the manner in which they play this defense, and the set play there couldn't have been better. They catch two players rushing forward, the third isolated from the showstopper in showers. Now the remaining two, it's a decision of if you even try anything here. Obviously, you don't want to allow FUT to survive with this many players, but at the risk of your own finances, maybe wanting to keep something into the next round. For now, though, it looks like
korumamız lazım ya. Yani korumamız doğru karar.
I think might have been Mr. Fowler just spamming into that smoke. And look how much health cNed has. Again, 2 HP last round, 1 HP this round.
It does feel like he's playing an RPG at this point. Like, the guy loses HP, gains critical hit points or something, a critical hit chance, perhaps. Nothing but heads.
He gains dodge.
Dodge, yeah, literally.
It's like, there's an 80% chance that your bullets won't hit him.
Oh, man, sometimes, I mean, if you were playing this guy from home, you'd say it was the ping, but, well, you don't have that excuse here. He's just better. 4 rounds locked in now for the defensive side as the clock runs down, and nobody will be taking those weapons out of BBL's hands, so they'll still have something to spar with coming in to round number 7. For now, you can see the ult usage on the side of FUT finding a little bit more value than it did vice versa, and wow. Cracks the pop flash, isolates a 1v1 duel. We talked about this the other day when the guy wasn't even playing. Cracks' KO for me is a staple. I don't think I've seen a KO that impresses me as much and as consistently as this man.
His Sage is kind of good too.
His everything is good. His everything is good. His KO is great.
And that's the one thing I'm sad about not having split. I think it's cool to see cNed versus Kushner, but it would have been cool also to see Cracks versus Kushner in the same battle. And then obviously cNed over on the chamber, but I think I agree with Vlad as well. The fact that BBL have taken this one to Ascent in the end, when they could have taken it to Split, which is a map that both teams have looked good on. It's where I expected it to go. This round though, ult's back online, at least, in the form of Seekers. They can get the information of these aggressive pushes. But this defense has been dynamic. A switch up of personnel once again. The double initiator here as they try and push through mid once again.
Oh, Mr. Fallen's going to be under pressure to take that fight. Breezy winning it out. It looks like a null command going into play for Cracks, but he's not able to fight ahead of those smokes. They've lost the space. They've conceded it, and the plan has come through at this point. FUT are forced into that retake, but they won't be too upset about it. Look what they've got to work with when they put feet back on the site. Viper's Pit out of Yedije. He's going up towards heaven, which makes me a little bit nervous. You also have to contemplate in the side of BBL, their post plans. Molotov on Brave could be in play. We can see his position on the map. And yes, indeed, he's playing that post plant molly. So now there's a bit of time pressure on FUT. They have to win these fights relatively quickly as they move their way forward. Sure, Pora's drop, but still haven't cleared out lamps. And this is where big problems could be brewing. Elite still on that off-angle clean. Diffuser, pardon, and 3 in total. A nice position and a fantastic follow-up for BBL to find a round.
Yeah, that made me really nervous because that Molotov was slightly off and they could have actually got the defuse there, but luckily when you have players like Elite, sometimes the utility can miss and he'll just wipe everyone out anyway.
I kind of feel like that molly helped them out because you're obviously not going to stick the plant, are you, if the molly lands and then you buy your time. Here, they're like, oh look, they made a mistake, we can defuse it. Wall goes down, and this happens. Nice and easy. The last, not so much. It was cNed he was up against. They made it look effortless. 4-3. BBL not going to let FUT run away with this one. They'll keep it close, which is a win condition for them, even if they don't take the series.
That's true. They'd still need a map. But if they keep it close all the way through, a map is enough. But that's the thing. I feel like we've seen so many players that come into the league this year that have been exciting. We can talk about Wu as of recent. We could talk about anyone on Heretics and KC, and I think you're going to excite most people. But Elite has been one of the real sort of standouts. This guy has been the reason that this team has been so unbelievably good. Pora setting up for the ult. Again, it's going to be pressure, but and a captain already manages to find an opener. This has just gone a little wrong. They've used the ult, but there's not really a way to play off it.
Yeah, kept way back on this. BBL now have to find an alternate solution to breaking through this defense, and it's not going to be dry running it, at least. You can't imagine it is. cNed sat in the corner. Thrash put through at a captain right up on it to trade through the wall, but doesn't need it. No, it spams like that from CNET, and that was blind fire to take down another player, to take down Elite, remove that Viper utility, and send BBL to a familiar situation. 2 versus 5, 30 seconds on the clock, and they're saving. But this time, Yenejay's ahead of it. He doesn't want them to carry these weapons through to the next. Instead, he's hunting them in their spawn. And now the rest of FUT are on their way. 18 seconds plus some post-timer. Pora's got to hold on strong if he wants this weapon for the next, and no way to hit the shot on cracks. 5 for FUT, and nothing carried through for BBL.
Yeah, again, it creates a fairly awkward scenario for them. Because FUT have been able to complete a few of these rounds with a fair amount of people surviving, whereas if you look at the other side of things, well, it was sort of that clutch scenario in the last round of Elite doing a lot of damage. It meant a couple of players had some money to spend, but in this round they can't really afford to do anything. Now they do have a Viper's Pit. We've already seen them commit a couple of ults in scenarios that have risk around them. I don't think I'd necessarily mind it being committed, especially if they're going to purchase up a few SMGs, if they can get into that position to begin with. But I think that's been one of the bigger problems, is once they're in the afterplant, it's looked all right. It's been difficult to get there in the first place, though. FUT have been very proactive in the way that they're playing this defensive side, continuously pushing, but also just in different avenues every single time.
You can see it in this round as well, right? How quickly they're able to slow the play after Pora puts through his Rolling Thunder. This is something that the second you see it come through, maybe there's one player on site who's got his rifle ready to fight, but you're about to be flooded and Mosh Pit goes in. What are you going to do? Run through that? Even with the stun up, they're probably going to connect the kill. Timeout for BBL as they look to discuss these problems. Icebox is their pick. That's up next. So even a loss here would be understandable somewhat. But FUT haven't looked terribly shaky on Icebox. The Vitality game had issues, but honestly, they seem like issues you can solve with a little bit of rejigging, probably the composition.
They were glaring issues of, just not running yourself an agent that could really spot mid in the form of getting flanked on mid. So yeah, I think that, like, realistically, I never feel confident ever going into a map versus FUT, because they're just a team that can sometimes just blitz anyone.
And the one thing coming in, maybe we talk about Ascent, but you know, the 82nd province for these guys, but the reality is BBL, we even had the conversation on the desk start of the week, it's just not their map anymore. And they even said it, that it's no longer their Istanbul. So, well, up against FUT, I'd say a Turkish team will win the map, but I'm not sure I'd be favoring BBL.
All the others.
Biz Eko'yuz.
Reezy şu an oraya with a hero rifle. Gonna try and pad the gap, and it's not gone great for Reezy at the start. Again, this pressure, but it's almost like a trading of places. The defense has taken control almost towards the spawn, and on the other side, they managed to get into the plant. You can see BBL trying to bait them in. They're tapping the plant just to almost get somebody to peek, give them a little bit of information, but that hasn't really been the case. FUT more than happy to try and hold their ground. Nade as well will make things a lot more awkward, and as they try and pressure, they've got to be ready for a second player to be there. At a captain is the snake in the grass.
Oh yeah, he's very late on this too. And it's not like they can commit Kushner to watching the angle for much longer. His head's been ripped clean off from heaven. Players coming out of spawn, too. Once you hear these close steps, that's where your eye's drawn to, and this is where Out of Captain, well now, he's just with the rest of the team, popping a paranoia, clearing up all this space and leaving these pistols in a really tough spot. Elite has a chance with a body shot to Mr. Fallen, but the round's already slipped away. How much more can he take out of their hands? A couple rifles, some reinvestment, but ultimately 6-3, 3 rounds left to play for. FUT are in prime position to close this half out with a big advantage.
Yeah, literally they lost the pistol second round, and then one round where it was the retake where Elite managed to slam them back before they could get anything done. It has been a solid performance from FUT so far, and there are no slouches on either side of this map. Again, Viper's Pit still available for Elite. And Pora is going to be the one to take the hit after the hero rifle in the last round. The fact is, though, they're using these early concussors in an attempt to try and slow down FUT, but it is not slowing them at all. They are pushing this again.
We start with the flash out of cracks, the paranoia used, the nade now forcing them out of position into the fight, and that's exactly what FUT wants. The kills found, and favorably for the defensive side with BBL trailing, and Pora tries to bridge the gap, loses the fight, loses the spike. Where's he going? CNED's blast packing around like a lunatic. The cracks has got him covered. That's going to be a frustrating aim duel to try and take. And now all that's left is for Brave to 1v4. All players in the same position, and the 3 remaining to carry their weapons forward for a 7-3 lead. And a statement start out to this series.
That was almost like, you know, the little guy talking smack, and then like the big bouncer comes up behind him. That's what it felt like. It's like, look at me, and then Cracks just deletes everyone. And it has been like just across the board. Cracks 11-5, YtcJ 10-6, Cena 10-4. Like they are having a field day on an individual level. They are fighting aggressively, and that's the thing. At this point, their opponents, as I said, setting up stuns to try and stop them being able to fight for these positions, try and make things a little bit more awkward. And they don't care. And the one time they don't do it is when Kushner sent his showstopper. They wanted to try and counter them directly with an ult, and there's no one here.
And they're slowed down by the mosh pit. What a trade out. An ult for a cheap piece of utility, but one that's found so much impact in this series so far. Mr. Fallen might not be fragging, might not be leading from the front, but he's doing his job, and that's all he needs to do. This time, though, Ada Captain goes down. Damage already done. Showstopper back in from Cena. Nade in from Cena. These players are in trouble. Cena's just shredding them in Lamson. It was a good start, but a terrible finish for BBL. Elite 38 HP. Sure, he's got a Viper's Pit, but you're only going to bring them down to your level. Welcome to your world, quite literally. Yeah. And a shot through the smoke's going to take you down pretty quickly. And
this is the problem. I think he's had that now for, what, 4, 5 rounds, maybe? It's been a long time that this Viper's Pit has been available, but they're not even getting close to post plants most of the time. It's scenarios where, again, it's just they're not getting showers control. Every time they try and wrap in through mid, it's just given up by FUT. FUT are allowing them the space. And while the B hits have mostly just been denied by utility, and then the rotations are in fast enough that FUT are able to hold. BBL definitely struggling on this attack side. Elite, as said, he's been unbelievable this season. But 38 HP Spectre. 3 players behind, and CNED is behind him.
Oh, that's absolutely no hope. That timing is incredible. I mean, we watched him the whole time, shift walking all the way around. The 2 zeros out in the crowd. And FUT, well, if they keep up this momentum, it won't only be a 2-0, it'll be a quick and clean one. Look at this from Cena, the nade kill after his back covered. They try to push him in front. He showstoppers. They come behind him to take him down. As he's nading. Well, he's got cover. Then you got to run out the nade. No, can't get out in time. There's just nowhere to go. Hey, I said his Jet's being good, and I didn't expect him to be a slacker on the raise, but looks like he can draw our eye just the same. 13-4 at the moment. Very impactful showstoppers too. Very impactful utility. And the guy's hitting heads.
Yeah, and now you've got the setup of YtcJ blocking off every angle you can walk through, and CNED blocking off every angle you can jump through. No good option on B, in other words, but it's understandable that FUT have placed this immediately because, like the last few rounds, BBL have tried to fight into that A side of the map. It has failed miserably. They now get to put all of their players with flashes and information utility on the other side of the map as well. So either way, it's not going to be an easy take for BBL, but they do have themselves up to strike. Viper's Pit, if they need it. Nothing spotted outside of the B site as well. They will know exactly where this is coming from.
Okay, they might know where it's coming from, but dealing with these players this time could be a different challenge altogether. Good flash, but Kushner, his team flash, in fact, but it works nonetheless. Gets the others closer to take down those kills. Kushner's wrap was perfect. Smoke up top blocked out anyone from helping. And finally, Viper's Pit has come into play. So BBL, 4 versus 2. A lot of damage done, granted, but orbital strike in play. Viper's Pit already up. Spike planted, time ticking, shots coming close. CNED spams through walls have been unbelievable. At times, there's one through the pit, but it was Tracers. Orbital strike pushes him back. His life should be fairly limited at this point. 1 HP, spamming with a Vandal and a snake bite that catches him as it unfurls. They even drop the pit to leave YtcJ in the open. And at this point, there's no way they let him away with it. 8 rounds for FUT at the half, but BBL crept back up in the end. 4 is not ideal, but it's doable. Let's see how their defensive side's going to kick off.
It's definitely not a death sentence. We've seen teams on this map in the past definitely struggle with the attack side. A lot of the time it's the narrow choke points and also just the slow timing you almost have to go for to try and methodically clear a lot of those aggressive angles. And safe to say the core is definitely still believing. that the squad could turn this one around. As I said, this map has not been comfortable for them pretty much all season. I think at kickoff, I think it was the first map of kickoff, they managed to beat Na'Vi. I think we mostly put that down to it being a first map of Na'Vi rather than anything else, but
which is the trend.
Defanssız.
Barriers up, but a slow approach from FUT. Now we saw BBL's initial 5-6 rounds. They were just planting their feet in the ground. Letting FUT push, although FUT
yavaştan geliyorlar bu arada.
This time,
nice.
FUT looking to be a bit more proactive. That Viper orb has put a big problem up for them. It's synced with their wall, so they're not going to have their own toxins to cross with.
Aman ölmeyelim.
They've already lost a player on the way through. The defensive side can now just sit tight and wait for the reactions. And as we look towards Hookah, it looks like a lot of pressure will be on Brave with a frenzy up close and 3 players too. In fact, about to peek, and CNED wins the fight. Sight now under threat. Good nade, great nade. This utility from CNED, it's been perfect. And Cracks jumps up on the wall for one with the decay. Well, now all of a sudden, FUT are looking to win this round, looking favored, and they've isolated Kushner. Another 3K from...
Look away, cut away. I don't want to see this.
And here we go. For the first time, Elite swings in and catches one, that's all. Seems like Yetijay was his kryptonite.
Just couldn't land those shots. Seen it on the other
What shots? I didn't see it.
I need to see his shots from his POV because it just seems again and again.
İyi de enter aldı.
I'm thinking back to the pistol round he won on Breeze, but I think this last okay, the nade one was good. This shot was ridiculous, and that was just so clean. Like, it's been fantastic. Putting him back in a Turkish team definitely seems to have brought him. Oh my god,
it's incredible. They've got the drums out and everything.
I like how it says the future is FUT. You're going to need a bigger building. If it gets any more than that, guys, come on. You're going to have the whole of Turkey in there.
Need every screen in the cinema. Flash didn't catch anyone. Pora sat inside this smoke, was hoping they'd get a connection. Nothing lands. No more flashes for Reezy. They're just going to wait for this smoke to fade. He's tucked up close, but they're watching it. Take a look at Ada Captain. More than ready for that push to take place, and take a look across the map. One player on mid, one watching Bath push. They've even got, I think it's Wingman. Yeah, he's up and on his way through Hookah. So they've cleared a ton of space, denied any aggression from BBL, and now they stack up to gamble into a site. The problem, Tom, is the gamble is taking place towards what is now a 4-man stacked up site. It's only weaker weapons, but with these pistols and Turkish players, you never know what you're going to get. FUT, though, off to a good start.
Luckily, FUT also have Turkish players, so they have the perfect counter. One of them even having a sheriff of his own. Nice shot from Elite. Brave's also got one more. They're definitely making this a little more competitive. As quickly as the hope begins, it fades. 10-4. FUT running away with this. I agree. Give him a sheriff and relax. This round, though. It's going to be a fairly strong bonus round out from FUT. Like, if there's going to be any semblance of hope in a response,
Haydi çocuklar.
Needs to be this round victory for BBL. And while CNED and Yetijay alone having Vandals could sometimes be enough.
Oh, it definitely could be. Yeah, even those weaker weapons, don't underestimate the Bulldog. Maybe underestimate Mr. Fallen Stinger. You're all right for that one. But
oh, he's going to get 3.
Yeah, this is the round. This is the round, just to prove me wrong. The reactions from BBL, again, we've seen this a few times. Elite just popping up the orb the second the wall comes in play. They're just going to battle with the toxins to see if one team can catch a timing late in the round.
Ben kafayı yiyeceğim. Abi kafayı yemelik bir şey yok. Rakibimiz güçlü FUT
yani.
Ve Bind onların mapinde oynuyoruz. Yapacak bir şey yok. Kötü oynadık. Geride kaldık. Ona 4 şu anda yani.
Trying to react to this a little bit, but ultimately sticking in their 3-2 for now. I guess that flash is going to come out of Reezy eventually, though, to clear... in fact, it's the Tiger that's on its way down long right now. And it looks like it has caught out a captain. Still, what do you do with the information? One player outside B-long.
Kendilerine gelmesi lazım.
Threat is building up towards Hookah. No rotation yet from the side of BBL. They still don't have the info. The jump spot being attempted, but for now, at least, this has been avoided. Smoke will go down, but immediately CNED's gone straight through it. The shot from Reezy's good, though. Drops him out of the sky. A Brave swinging has caught another couple.
Nice.
This is a solid hold when it comes to the B site.
Sakin, yavaş yavaş. Yavaş yavaş.
Now left alone.
Çok güzel, ona 5.
20 seconds. May just even want to make sure that he holds onto the gun.
Abi öldük bittik modunda bir izlemeyin. Bir sakin olun. Bir chill arkadaşlar. Yaslanalım arkamıza. Keyifli bir maç olacak gibi görünüyor. O yüzden izleyelim.
What a hold from BBL.
Toksik demeyelim chatte.
And nothing can break through it. I think from the side of FUT, it's the first bump in the road, really. I don't think they got to be too worried about it. That's
no hands.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Abi neden her oyun sürekli önce rakibin mapinde başlıyoruz? VCT'nin yetim çocuğu falan mıyız acaba? Abi o bizim yazı turada şanssızlığımız. Yazı tura atılıyor. Ve her seferinde kaybediyoruz. Nasıl oluyor ben de bilmiyorum.
The interplay there was just perfect. So you had Reezy's initial contact. When they're focused on him, Brave swings. When they then switch back, Reezy swings again. Like they basically played off of each other as well as they could have done.
Evet, şu şey puanıyla yazmalarını kapatsanıza. Ya da yazanları da banla. Ya toksiklik yapanı banla direkt ya modlar.
Landing and getting that shot off and not, right? The flash just came in just as he died. But again, those things can be easy to have a little hiccup, a little bump in the road that you hit on the way through. Plenty more rounds for them to adjust course. And with 10 to 5 on the board, BBL have a long way to go before they're back in this in a competitive environment. Full buy up for FUT. Ults coming online, and the most scary one of all, CNET. Yeah, those showstoppers are often used just for sectioning off parts of the map control, pushing players back, but CNETs have been finding kills every single time.
He also uses it as a booster sometimes. Yeah. So I need to get a little bit further. I'm going to boost myself with the showstopper and then headshot you. But now though, again, much more tempered in their aggression, patient.
A'ya döndüler.
BBL do have a good read. The stun as well. If put into place at the right time, could set them up wonderfully. There you go. It's brought this to a halt. You can already see the rotation. Sprinting from Brave. Pop flash is good though, and actually Adacap, he's just got swinging off the back of it. Takes a bit of a risk, and Kushner's there. 2 kills immediately, goes for a little bit more. Might have got a bit greedy. His teammates aren't really available to stop them. But I'm loving the position of Reezy. This is so much more passive than you'd normally expect. He is waiting for them to drop out. Already finding the kill, and he won't quite get the second, but 11 HP for cracks. Good luck.
That will be an impressive 1v3 if he can pull this across the line. That A hold was unbreakable. They've shown that B is strong as well. Good signs for BBL's defense early on. We just need to see them close this round.
Çok güzel, bravo.
Luckily, that 11 HP, it's not enough even with the wall in the way to keep him alive. 6 rounds for BBL. A good attempt out of FUT, almost the recovery. I think Reezy saved them. Really, it's Kushner, though, in this position. You got to clear Kushner on the way through, and they won't make that mistake again.
No, you can't imagine. I think that was more, again, just Adacaptain trying to catch a timing, but didn't work out.
He also heard the player running back in spawn. He heard those steps on the metal, so you think there's one there, one in heaven? What are the chances they've got just a guy tucked away and that they're abandoning him to basically die in an isolated duel?
Şöyle bir şey var. Raze ultileri var.
Economy-wise,
ve Kaya ultileri
not
var.
in the best spot, but they do have that showstopper, null command, and a hero rifle for Yedajay. So still opportunities. This could be a good chance for BBL to really build up some of those finances. Allow for rebuys, but more importantly, they've got 3 ults that are 1 orb away.
That's it, right? This is a round where, for BBL, sometimes we'd look at it as a moneymaker round. And sure, it can be that, but it's not like you're going to see FUT run away with it and BBL go, well, at least we've got cash, guys. They're a little too far behind for that sort of carry on. But building up those ultimates coming into the next round, now that could be huge to have that safety net that if things do get out of control, you can fall right back on it. If Kushner has a big round, he'll be right on a showstopper too. Well, he almost had a quick round. Yedajay dropped. One towards Pora. There's Elite picking up.
Vermeyin oğlum kill. Vermeyin oğlum kill.
The players on FUT have rotated around. Still, BBL are sat in positions. Reezy hasn't been given this up even late into the previous round, and we can see that Brave is also in spot. This could be both of those remaining ultimates farmed up right here and now.
In a good position. Flash out. It's going to give both players away. May go down to his paranoia, is in. And he's managed to find them a couple. Again, though, the rotation. Already on spot, but the rifle's been picked up by Adacap. He's going to be waiting close to the smoke. Definitely be a gamble to go through it. I think they're going to try and patiently wait on the other side. As that plant now comes in, the nade is going to force Cracks into a bit of a more awkward position. Adacap immediately traded it. It's almost there for Cracks, but Pora It's a safe pair of hands. And I want to say, I absolutely love watching the way that Pora plays this defensive side. It reminds me of like an old school DRX, where you know the way they used to play split, where he just sits almost all the way back, I think it was stacks, and would just set up stuns. Like he just goes, okay, we need stun here, I'm going to stun here, we need stun here, I'm going to stun here. And that's all he's doing. He's just going, okay, they're playing a short, stun. Okay, they're playing towards showers, stun.
Yani bizim için iyi bir round değildi bu arada çok. Çünkü ekolarda ve ekorlara çok kill verdik.
Is that going to be reflective on the scoreboard?
Bayağı bir damage yedik
no, it's
yani.
not. You're not going to find anything from that. But he's basically orchestrating from the back as the leader, which it's a selfless role. It's one where if things go wrong in the future, you might be the guy that gets left behind. But it also might be the guy that wins your games.
Well, that's it. And you got to hope that your team management and everyone like that is able to sit back and look a little deeper than just the statistics and the spreadsheet. Sometimes there's a little bit more to the game. And I think for Pora, you saw even in that last fight, I think they delayed the nade a little bit, but the fact that the stun was lined up ready to go, although it didn't come in on time, could well have gotten the kill, and I'm sure it will in the future. For Foot, 4 ultimates online. Can be a big dump of a round if they decide to go for it all in.
Peki. Burayı geri alsak ya.
They've only needed the one. Big ult dump round, you know? Just dump all the... Because they dump all their ults.
Ulti geldi A'ya.
He didn't use the word ult.
Geri çıktı elit.
I did shorten it a little.
Evet, retake'e bıraktık.
Both teams.
2 ultimiz var. Brave ulti var. Elit ulti var.
As we will now have that wraparound coming in already. Yeah, I think he was stunned up there. He still manages to hit the shot. Maybe that's the curse of the reach. Well, he did get attacked. By the French, but it doesn't matter. Yedajay's just hitting every head. It leaves it all up to Brave. A 1 versus 3 scenario. An impossible position to fight from. Still has a Molotov, but he still believes there's someone towards the showers. In fact, though, Yedajay has abandoned that spot. Going to try and get onto that diffusal. He's done some damage, but doesn't even know the second player's there, and another one. It's wrapping him behind him. It's this youngster of Foot again. One of the hottest properties in the VCT EMEA right now. That has given them an 11th round.
3 kill aldı galiba. Rizzi vurdu, Pora'yı vurdu, üzerine Put'u vurdu.
Those ults came through. The little homie came in and wasn't even needed. Look, it's so quick. A little tap on him. An afterthought. The showstopper from miles away.
The thing is, if he got headshot himself there, that would have been so silly. But it is just the fact that he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss those.
Deafening inside that watch party for Foot with 2 rounds left to go. It's only going to get louder. A timeout called by BBL. This is their second. Foot have yet to touch theirs. So if that comeback does begin, they've got time to touch base and make those adjustments. 2 timeouts left for Foot, 2 rounds left as well. BBL need a solution here and now.
Yeah, it's definitely been more competitive than what we've seen in some of their previous buy matchups, but
evet, bu arada 3 ulti harcadılar. Yani öyle de bir durum var. Bayağı ulti harcadılar. Biz Brave ultiyi harcadık. Şu an Kuti ulti, yani Raze ultimiz artı Viper ultimiz var.
At the very last second, everything will have aligned for them to go through. If BBL win a map,
yani
especially with how close this first one has been, that will likely be enough to send them into the playoffs. And I'll be honest, the spot I think they deserve.
Peki bu round
they have been fantastic in this split.
Forcelayacağız mı yoksa forcelamıyoruz.
I'll put my name in the hat as one of them.
Alacak şekilde aldık.
But they have shown up.
Acaba ultileri kullanacağız mı?
Good teams, beating some great teams. The only team to beat Na'Vi. That's absurd. Like with how good Na'Vi have been. And obviously the other thing for Foot here as well, I want to mention again, they will overtake Na'Vi if they win this series. I think that's a 2-1 as well. They don't even have to 2-0, and they'll be the #1 team in their group.
It really does break my heart a bit, Tom, because look, I'll level with you. I would be happy if Liquid made it to playoffs, but the reality is, with the year that BBL have had, so far the stage even, they deserve it. They deserve it more. The games that they've had have been impeccable. They've surprised me on levels I was not ready to be surprised by BBL on. And that Na'Vi game as well. Like there's just been for them to have all these accolades, potentially miss out on playoffs, it seems like a crime. But it's a reality that they're now facing 11-7 down map 1.
Bomba neydi lan?
Not a lot invested into this one, but they've made it work before.
Was that his teammate's nade? I'm looking at where C-Dead is. I don't think he's got a lineup from there.
He also still has his name.
That also does it. You never know, though. He's about to get 2 kills. They just gave him in advance.
Kushner's just used his ult. Showstopper up towards heaven. And sure, it cancelled out of captains from the shadows, but if you're going to offer me a trade from the shadows for a showstopper,
Look
I'll
at the
take
time. 25 seconds left. The
positioning
of Brave could be everything. They've not checked. He's just going to try and drop the spike. A second player. If he kills the player with the spike, he might just win them the round, but he's only done damage. Still, though, Kushner's now here, waiting with the rifle. First player dropped. Still, that spike is coming, but it's gone down. It's trapped. I think they've just about done enough. It would have to be the kills for Vert. It's not happening. They managed to win the round purely based off time. Brilliant from BBL.
It might look silly. That showstopper used, it's burned up for what? For nothing. And we talk about FUT. Oh, when they use those showstoppers, it's a kill every time. That's great. Well, there is a way to win the round without even drawing blood yourself. Gorgeous play from BBL. Brave, any weapon other than the frenzy.
But the thing is, even that just burnt time.
Slowed them down.
It slowed them down. It allowed players into the site. A lot of that came off Kushner, and then just dropping them from the backlines, I think, was Reezy as well.
And the player he tagged down so low was Mr. Fallen, who gets one shot by a sheriff, and that's why the spike goes down. If he doesn't hit those shots, if he doesn't even do the damage, and so on. What an incredible round and a narrow margin to stay alive here. 3 rounds in between them. And BBL back on that defense, sitting down, waiting for the aggression. They're not going to go pushing forward, giving advantages. They just went off of time. Let's see how FUT respond to it. They don't seem to be quickening their play at all.
No, I don't think FUT are going to swap things up. I think they're going to look at that as a blip. They lost to what was a Viper's Pit thrown in and a showstopper. Like,
true.
2 things that are not available in this round. And to just try and blitz when you know your opponents have, firstly, the utility to slow you down.
Peki, tamam, güzel. B'ye geldi. İkisi de burada.
I think that would be an oversight. An oversight that Mr. Fallen as an IGO is not going to allow.
Masha nade for backside, but the corner's still wide open. Out there on his own. Brave is isolating duels. The spike retrieved, but a 2 versus 5 after the chaos of initial engagements. Yetije, he's still here with his teammate Cracks. They've grouped up. But finding this round now seems very difficult with 20 seconds to get that spike on the ground. It looks like the call might just be another save. This attacking side conceding a round to BBL and putting 11-9 on the board. Tom, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a pause out of FUT, because this gap has now narrowed massively.
Yeah, I think it might be a moment for guys to try and talk things through. I think also just a lot of what this B-site defense has been is the interplay between Brave and Reezy. I think their timing on when they peek off the flashes or off just players diving through is sublime. Like, Brave is so good at just finding angles to isolate fights, but he knows that other positions are being held by teammates at the same time. He's had a real resurgence in this map, now moving right up the board. And well, there you go. That is the FUT timeout. Still not getting too far out of control just yet, and obviously for them, less pressure. I do think it needs to be stated that first place in the group is a massive difference. It is, firstly, you skip the instant elimination stage. That is the first couple of matches, is you lose and you are out. At least if you finish first, you lose, you're still in the lower bracket. You get another opportunity to try and fight. Also, if you go into that first matchup, I believe you win 1 game and you've made it. You're already going off to Masters. So you skip some of the most dangerous matches and you get very high likelihood of making it over to China, which I'm sure after not being able to make it, being in the group of death at kickoff, where the only teams they lost to were the teams that made it to Madrid. That's got to have a sort of bitter taste in the mouth of FUT, and I'm sure they're going to be wanting to get as close as they can to make it to another international, because they are a team that deserves to be there.
Some good news for those of you out there. Maybe some bad news. No tiebreakers will be in play today. It's been confirmed now by BBL finding enough rounds, so there's no BO1s after. We're all going to be decided after this one. And for BBL, 2-round gap. They have done a fantastic job of pulling this game back in their favor after losing the pistol as well to start out this half. I thought that could have been FUT running away with it. BBL now in a very winnable position. They forced FUT to call a timeout this round. Sees weak weapons across the board. 3 pistols in play for FUT, and just those 2 rifles that they saved over that will be carried through. Still, there's a lot of danger, and this is a round that BBL have to approach with an element of caution.
Right there.
Again. Just those couple of weapons to play with. It's a freebie though. Elite gives that one up. That gun can quite easily be retrieved as well, especially with 3 pistols in play. This definitely makes things dangerous. Kushner is going to try and make a move off this. The nade could be catastrophic in terms of the damage, but it's not going to go in time before the wingman plants. And after plant, an extra rifle found. This is truly dangerous for the side of BBL. Reezy's almost dead too.
Only guy that can't get healed back up as well, and now he's the last man standing. What a response from FUT, with mostly sheriffs in play. They somehow find one of the most convincing rounds in recent memory, Umbine. What?
Just seen Emil clapping at the crowd. Yes, yes, so was it.
They should have some honorary FUT merch for this game.
Yeah. Wow, 12-9. I don't know what guys said. I'd love to hear it. I'm sure it was inspirational because that was about as clean as a low-buy round as it's ever going to get. Still though, BBL have the finances to buy back up again. Horror one of his ult, Reezy 2, Operator for Kushner as well. Could be a game changer, and already that's Yedajay gone. He's been a nuisance in showers in the majority of rounds.
That's a huge player to take down as well. You're opening up this sight line for your operator. Without that Viper wall in play, they can't cross all too easily. And at the moment, you can see that's all they're waiting for. Smoke down. Ada Captain at least able to block out some of these angles. Get them closer to the site. Perhaps the drawing rotations in, still the option to rotate with that teleporter in play. Brave is on his way. Flash is good, they can take some deeper control, and up top, CNED catches Kushner. The battle of the races goes CNED's way, and he's inspired to keep up the fight. Even throwing a thrash into this, and it's caught them. No, it hasn't. It didn't, they destroyed it just in time. Okay, it's not gonna run the clock down that much. They still have the disadvantage on the way back through. The defuse to be found, the stun going in. And the players not yet found. Ada Captain isolates a 1v1, loses it. Reezy on another Mr. Fallen though. He's being quiet all map. And now he steps it up for the double. Elite, the last man standing, caught off guard by CNED.
Aggressive and proactive in the way that he's going to play the attack, look to try and take more space. He's a fantastic entry when he plays this KO as well. So it may not be the biggest issue. For now, though, we'll have to wait and see. The BBL, survival now on the line. Their shot at playoffs disintegrates if they lose this map, and if the numbers aren't incorrect, if they win this map, they make it.
Well, that's it for BBL. I think you have to imagine the pressure that these players are under. Now the reality really starts to set in, but they're not playing passive and waiting for their opponents to make a mistake, make a move instead. Going for some mid-aggression. Hadn't seen anybody there, so the rotates are back, but these players are close on hand to maybe try to pick off some of these A players. So the shock dart's good for Mr. Fallen, but he dodges the next one. 50 HP, just about holding on to life. And this squad for FUT, about to be pressured on with paranoia coming through, and Ada Captain caught down below, but there's support from Mr. Fallen. Pora, the one to pick up both those kills, damage done to CNED. Little cracks will avoid as any further damage with the decay disintegrating. He swings out, catches one, right clicks from Brave, not landing, and the wall up, and Brave attempt from Pora, but it's not going to work out. Too many players surrounding him, and a pistol under the belt of FUT.
That's a good start for their side. I definitely think they're going to have a safer time when heading into the A site. I think that's the general census when it comes to Icebox. But without that Sage Wall, it definitely becomes a lot easier. You're still going to have so much utility to clear all of these sort of safe corners that teams might like to look to play in off angles. You've got Snakebite, Shock Darts, Nano Swarms, Fragment. Like, you got pretty much everything you could ever need. You also got CNED. That's just another piece of utility.
It helps, doesn't it? Yeah, CNED playing the Jet as well. Difference in compositions, right? For BBL, actually taking space is going to be that little bit more complicated, whereas CNED here, he's going a bit more direct, dashing in.
We've seen this Omen before, and it definitely, at times, has been very hit and miss. Paranoia is great. Smokes for extra space, fantastic. But the loss of movement or aggressive movement can be a big problem. So we'll see. I think that's mainly going to be a problem when it comes to going into the attack.
Shoulder atamadı.
For sure. Yeah, here they only have classics. That's why Mr. Fallen's having such an easy time picking them off. And finding himself his ultimate in the process. Hunter's Fury online for next. Out of Captain, finding the final. 2-0 to start this one out. And a big round for FUT. Not only an Andalucia flawless, but like we said, Hunter's Fury farmed up on the back of it.
Yeah, and they'll also do the same as they always do. Yedege had a pistol. He now invests back into a rifle. So it's going to be a 5-rifle buy alongside the ultimate. So if anything, okay, sure, it is the argument of the Bulldogs versus the Vandals/Phantoms on the other side. But that ultimate could end up padding the gap. For now, though, it looks like they're setting up early. Potentially just fight for the orb on B. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go that way, but it might just force Brave back a little bit further.
It also means the pressure is on for him. If he decides to stay aggressive after the drone's gone through, which he doesn't, concedes the space. At this point, though, you start to think FUT are not just looking for that orb. The knife has gone down on yellow, but the players flooding the site is more so what gives that away. A plant all ready to be secured. Now we can see the advantage of having that Hunter's Fury late. They are still fighting, still pushing. CNED alongside Ada Captain are in the spawn almost, and now looking to fight back. It's almost like they're the defenders attempting a retake. Their own little fight. Their own battle supported by spams out of cracks through walls and walls. They're finding all the kills. Oh, a disaster for BBL. Kushner barely even gets his gun. In fact, he doesn't get a chance to shoot at anyone. Hunter's Fury, Tom, wasn't even needed.
No, that's a very bad sign early on. Like, did you expect FUT? They are the sort of team that can steamroll absolutely anyone. Funnily enough, one of the teams that is currently rooting for them, they steamrolled earlier in the tournament, which is definitely a weird turn of events. But that's the thing, it is a team that can just go crazy, but you expect with all that extra utility, all that extra delay.
Right here.
But FUT didn't care. They disrespected every single piece that was thrown. Plant came in so quickly. That's meant to be more difficult, by the way. Without the Sage, they've made it look very, very easy, especially towards that B site, where again, you'd have the expectation of there be snake bites to stop them getting the plant. This time, it does seem like BBL are going to be a bit more aggressive with their utility, but unfortunately they don't have the guns.
Yeah, like even Brave, Stinger, not really going to be able to do much from that position. Tags are decent, especially considering the weaponry in play. I mean, those are Sheriffs tapping through that smoke. But again, following up on the back of it will be tough. If they could get the Hunter's Fury out of them, they'd be delighted this early on. This is really a round where I don't expect much from this side. Some aggressive stances, but again, as we can see, CNED can just get out of there. Good spray out of cracks, farming up orbs, and just like that, it comes to a conclusion. Convincing one for FUT. 3 players left alive. Ult farmed up as well, getting a lot of those orbs. With a 4-0, basically flawless start. Economy sky high. You have to hope that on the opposition for BBL on this defense, that this is the round where they find an answer. Because if they don't, this is going to very quickly spiral out of their control.
Yeah, this was a map as well that I feel like a lot of people had some expectations that they might end up banning this. That is a roar.
That is a roar.
But the fact is, FUT have come in with a game plan. Right now, BBL still trying to react. Okay, they want those openers. That's what they're going for here. And CNED, he uses the disruption to his advantage. They know he's here already. This is already just falling apart completely. Finally, Elite drops somebody on the side of FUT as they're looking to retreat. He's going to try and catch him, and while Cracks has won that battle as well. Now there's even a hesitation for FUT going, well, we got another kill. Do we just go back towards the A site?
I mean, really take your pick. Probably, I'd like to see them grouped together in the death ball, but with how things have been going so far, sure. Let's try and make the individual plays. Ada Captain's low, has a Viper's Pit, and just wants to secure some extra space. Sees backside clear, and now the call is set. Plant up on A, and allow the late lurk of Yedege to come through. Had a captain can catch him on the way in. ytcN will catch him on the way out. Ooh, yeah, okay. I see for a second Kushner starts stepping forward, but he's just trying to catch an angle with the op and eventually decides to give them a little bit more room to work with. So back towards yellow, and I would assume that they will carry these weapons forward. Even then, bridging all those gaps is going to be tough.
This is a really bad sign for BBL. As mentioned already, they are in one of the weirdest scenarios we've seen. Where if they win this series, they finish top in their group. If they lose 2-0, which they are currently on track for, they are out. And Liquid take their place. It is not a scenario we've seen before, and it is not one I think we're likely to see again. And it's not getting any better for them. They know where this last man is, and even though ytcN walks out without his gun ready, Mr. Fallen is 5-0. The loss of guns for FUT means absolutely nothing. They are stacked for cash, and their opponents are left in the bin. A couple of players yet to even get on the scoreboard, Mitch.
For a split second, did he think about knifing him?
I think he pulled out Sheriff.
It was knife then Sheriff. Maybe it was a misclick on the Sheriff initially.
I don't think so.
Look at it, knife in hand, and then he switches over. That would have been crazy. He's got an op, I'll jump around him. Oh, I don't think they need to disrespect them any further. It's 5-0 in the lead. And FUT, they've got big ultimates online. We said Captain last round managed to get the Viper's Pit in play. Null command for cracks. And yeah, BBL have some of their own, but they've struggled to get anything done.
He just picked up an orb over on A that got him the Hunter's Fury of his own. So again, one of the major problems should be getting the plants, and especially with the Hunter's Fury, that's definitely going to make things a little bit more awkward, though he is on the other side of the map. And you can see again from FUT, they are more than happy to just take this control. I almost feel like at this point BBL might be showing them a little bit too much respect.
Maybe, and that could be their problem in some games. We see this team consistently in series and in maps be slow to start. We looked at the percentages, it's always like the late half, the kind of second quarter that they managed to find the majority of the rounds. Hunter's Fury, it's not. It's caught Mr. Fallen. The spam from Kushner off the back of the reveal works perfectly. Null command burnt up right here and now. Plan has been secured, and now the fight back through the pit's going to be tough.
But that's the problem. It was meant for Blanc Denial. It hasn't worked out. It went sliding away, but he's still been caught. The best scenario we've seen so far for BBL. Captain is already tagged desperately low within this. The time is ticking. They need to get a move on. They're hoping to try and find someone. The dart has revealed, and that leaves just one in Captain. He's managed to dance his way around. He's trying to deny the defusal, and he's found a couple of kills. I don't know how he's managed to do this. Captain has just pulled off maybe the most ridiculous clutch we've ever seen. How has he done that?
Utterly speechless. We need a replay. Cue it up. Get it up there.
The thing is, we saw it from his POV, and I still don't believe it. It's
I need to see this a second, a third, a fourth time.
He was, I think, 36 HP.
Out of ammo.
He doesn't hit the shot. Then just goes with the shorty. Gets both players. It's ridiculous.
Look at ytcN. ytcN's been breaking the sound barrier down on the stage when they win rounds conventionally. I think that microphone's going to need a swap out. It's a tactical timeout from BBL. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes into a tech. Someone must have broken something. It might even have been me. I need to check this. Holy!
Well, I think Captain broke his wrist. I don't know how he's done that. But that's the thing. If I go back throughout the season and I question how a man has done something, maybe with a pistol.
Look at that face.
I almost imagine Emil sat in the crowd right now going, now you know how it feels.
At least it wasn't a classic, Tom. It was a shorty.
No.
He probably wouldn't win it.
Slightly more expensive pistol with only 2 bullets in it. Yeah, sure, okay.
A few hundred credits makes all the difference, Tom. Less embarrassing. Oh my goodness. I mean, to be honest, the BBL pause, it might even help out FUT just to calm down the heart rates a little bit. I'm almost shaking after that one. I can't imagine how they feel. Captain is 10-2. FUT are 6-0. And we say BBL are slow to start. Well, that could have been the round that put them right back on the horse.
That should have been the round.
That was the round. That was the round.
No, could have. It definitely was meant to be. But Captain, again, one of the most enjoyable players to watch. One of the friendliest guys and an absolute demon in the server. He's kicked things off versus Pora. Again, the finances not in a good position for BBL. They've got a lockdown, but You have to remember, ults were committed in that round as well. There's so many negatives to what we've just witnessed. Breezy hasn't managed to get anything. Kushner, however, has, and he's actually making a good go of this. In fact, they're looking for an instant response. 5 HP, though. Getting out of his important. Teaming up with the rest of BBL. He's still actually fighting. He's going to go down for it.
Oh, this is dangerous. They can decide to push this on the side of foot, but right into Elite's Sheriff. Beautiful shot. Recon just to check. There's no flank waiting to catch him. He's going to have to run, but he'll make it. Out of there just in time, but the mid flank is watched by Brave. There he is. Mr. Fallen spotted him. Brave knows he's been seen. He'll start to back off. Taking this fight together is so important. This is a clutch that they cannot lose on the side of BBL. After that previous round as well. Mr. Fallen, he was slow on the first map, like we said. He wasn't fragging out, but now 8-2. Starting to find his groove. They've split up on the side of BBL. 2 1v1s on offer, but time is going to be the real issue. 12 seconds to get onto that B site, find the plant, and these players are close by. In fact, a perfect angle found by Elite. 1 round on the board for BBL. It's taken a while, but it always does with this team.
Yeah, they should have won the last one, but they probably shouldn't have won this one. So I guess balance is restored. A huge round from Kushner with that rifle. Being able to battle and brawl, and the pistols playing a part as well. Even still, it is just 1 round on the road to recovery. As we've already mentioned, this map for BBL is everything. For FUT, not so much. FUT, if they win this series, they're top of their group. Lovely. Happy. They get to skip that stage. BBL, they lose this map, they're not even in playoffs. They win this map, and they are. It's as simple as that.
There's a part of me that wants to see this series even just conclude on a third map, second map, wouldn't matter to me, but these two teams...
The other part is a Liquid fan.
That's the bigger part. But it would have been, could be even beautiful if we end up there. For now.
No real damage in. Again, that Hunter's Fury is available for Mr. Fallen. He's already going to be falling back. He's going to use it preemptively. They like to do this with disruptive plays, but the flash only catches 1.
It's not enough for them. FUT have time on their side, but the advantage for BBL is they look to fight close, spam through, catching Yedije. Kushner, a Shrouded stepped up top. Good position to play from now, as they can just smoke off this choke point and start the defuse halfway already, and the kills keep flooding in. CNED's the last man standing, and he has no chance to deny this. In fact, almost just trying to save the weapon right under their nose. And it looks like he'll get away with it too, just in time. He revealed his hand in the last second.
Hey, just us 6 Turkish guys hanging out, all BBL players. Did you say 6?
I'm with you guys, I'm with you guys. Yeah, I'm your jet, don't worry.
Hey, you remember BBL CNED? That's a blast from the past.
Quite a while.
6-2.
Hadi.
Slow to start. But they're getting there. Couple of rounds back in a row. Of course, finances, they've been dented now at least. CNED 1 away from a Bladestorm. Res still available for Pora, but it's so situational. Reezy again has managed to take that orb. They haven't really challenged that on the side of FUT. He's been able to build that orb almost all the way back up from the crazy round they lost. Just a couple ago. And already a pretty decent read. A 4th player looking like he might even be able to rotate in, or at least play in mid. They're in a great spot here, BBL.
Even taking fights from around these positions that they're currently in is fine. Pora is the one guy I don't want to see go down, but that res in the back pocket for FUT, taking space and playing post plant isn't even the main name of the game. Right now they're trying to fake this out, trying to make some noise so that Yedije can catch any flankers, any over-aggression on the side of BBL, but the rotates have come in through spawn, keeping mid secure with the Killjoy utility, and having a second player, a third, in fact, up and around that kitchen area. The rotates back, it's the right read, and the side of A has been left mostly open. The main issue is the time. With 35 seconds left, the fake is being sold now by Mr. Fallen. This is getting them. Just take a look over at the A side on the minimap. You're already seeing Reezy give up control of Heaven. He starts to go back. They're now realizing that the push isn't coming through, that it's probably an A play, but they can't get here in time. FUT have already overrun the site, and now it looks like a plan will come in. The shock darts, we've seen them before. A second one's on the way out. A captain's got to move, and he's taken a lot of damage for that plant. something for BBL to work with as they go straight back in. And a great reveal combined with the paranoia finds the opening.
Cracks with an immediate trade though. Keeps things even. The wall has been problematic for them. The shot's not quite connecting and they're already getting this one to half. In fact, Reezy's just going to stick it all the way, but it doesn't quite get diffused. It's still left down to Adacaptain. Snake bites have been thrown in. He knows he needs to get up close. He needs to try and find that lineup, but they've got the res. Thrown in at the perfect moment. I don't know if he's going to be able to stop this. The span this time isn't enough. He'll kill off Brave, but the round is taken once again by BBL.
You have a wall and body blocks, reses to bring extra players online just to use them as flesh armor. BBL digging deep for this round, but they found it now 3 in a row as momentum swings in their favor. So too does the economy, at least begins to, as we'll start to see some weaknesses coming through on the side of Foot. But it's at a time when we see CNET with a Blade Storm to work with. This will be a different round in the identity of this attacking side. And think about what BBL committed for it as well. The res, the Viper's Pit. They have to dump a lot to find those precious couple rounds.
Blade Storm immediately utilize. It gives them a buy. Something extra. Counter smoke to make things a little bit more awkward for CNED, but you can almost see into the mind of the Turkish Jet. There is a temptation to try and make a play off of this. Not right now, though, at least. A few tags hit on either side. But again, look at where the spike is. Currently sat just outside A. This is all a ruse, a plan to try and bait rotations once again. And an aggressive position has been taken by Adacaptain, hoping that somebody goes rotating through the kitchen. The thing is, he knows that that turret is there. Maybe the hope is that Killjoy goes down, he can try and capitalize off the space. But for now, it's just all about patience.
Brave is on the way back towards yellow. This is where the real danger is.
Brave'in 2 kili var mı?
The dash has come in and CNET's found him. Yeah, the fight seemed quite telegraphed and Brave was in the wrong spot to find any sort of success. Adacaptain now breaks a turret, causes them to look the other way, and that's when Mr. Fallen strikes a beautiful trade, even if not intended. But Reezy gets a little bit of his own done. That kill might just set their eyes on the site where they now believe the spike to be around, but look at the flank! Oh, he connects it in the dart was seen. Yedashay not able to find the shots and bails out just in time. 5 bullets left in that magazine as they attempt to move forward towards this spike. Blade Storm still for CNET. He can get up and above, trying to catch the head of Pora. Can't quite connect, but with Reezy down, there's no diffuser, and there's no one to even attempt it for Pora. Finding both of these players is near impossible, and CNET finds him first. 7-3 now. Foot back on the board, breaking the win streak of BBL.
Yeah, a great round from them. A double pump to start with, baking out that they'd retreated, gone back, end up hitting the site anyway with CNED's entry, but it was actually the double lurk. You had the initial flag coming through from Adacaptain, which once you clear that player, you go, the other one probably isn't here, probably watching the flank, probably making sure we're not coming behind. And then you have that second player of Yedashay wrapping in. That was the big part of the round for Foot. Layers to this attack side. Again, no problems in terms of money for BBL. I think if they can get 4 or 5 rounds, it's not a death sentence. It's still going to be tough, don't get me wrong, especially with the alterations Foot have made to this comp to bring in that Killjoy. The Sage on the defense, not as much of a loss. If they get to 9, I don't know if there's a response.
Yeah, that is where even the pistol could just tip the pendulum in their favor. Alarmbot left behind to cover their flank. No one will be sneaking up. They've watched the Foot demo.
Bol döndürerek oynayacaklar ya.
The rotates from Foot. They were stacked up outside A. It looked like BBL made the right gamble, but now the B site's the one under threat. The retake setup is going to have to be tested. Perhaps Brave can find a few with the spans through the smoke on the Phantom. Yedashay lurking up on A. Smoke's about to fade, and he's just walked his way through an ambitious attempt from this man. He doesn't expect there to be another, but he's faded through the smoke. What? And now Mr. Fallen strikes, taking down Brave, who starts to rotate. They think it's A. Of course they think it's A. And that's when they lose their B player, lose their B site, and face into a 5 versus 3 post plan. An absolutely impeccable lurk from Yedashay. Couldn't have planned it any better.
It's like fighting your shadow. You just don't know where he is. You can try and stamp him out, you can try and crush him, but ultimately he's still there, lurking behind you. A nice attempt from Bora to make somebody into the fight, but they're more than ready for anything else, and at this stage, it just has to be the weaponry. They need to bring something through into the next round. Make sure they can at least get a purchase, and CNED, well, he's on the hunt. Yedajay, as said, he's your shadow, he's behind you. He's the darkness.
They're all over him. Look at that mini-map. Players absolutely everywhere. CNED jumping around.
I hate it.
The human drone again. Such an annoying player to face off against, and BBL are learning that lesson the hard way. 8-3. 3 rounds in a row for BBL. They figured out their defense. They had a formula that was locked in. This round is insane. That smoke just got thrown, Tom. It just got thrown, and he can't kill him because of it. Even then, what impact would that have had with the way they flood this site, find the kill, and leave the player on B caught in the open as he attempts to rotate into what they assume is an A-side hit, because why the hell wouldn't you? Guy just shift walked up underneath heaven. Of course it's an A-side hit, but not this time. Well played by FUT.
It's definitely unfortunate that you can understand why BBL wanted to head into this map, but FUT's attack side has looked impeccable. They did struggle on the defense last time, but as said, we've already seen the adaptations. Nice one from Bora, though. That's a huge double kill. Leaves Mr. Fallen and cracks, and not to say that this time they definitely know it's a hit towards that A side. That shock dart's going to do the work. At least make things a little bit more competitive. Now, Pora's still here, and he's low. He doesn't have any support. If they swing off this, it would almost have to be, well, yeah, I was going to say a missed shot from the other side. This is starting to get dangerous, Mitch.
I mean, I can forgive him for that, though. That flash was perfect. Now there's no utility left for FUT. Now they have to do it with just the rifles in hand. 20 seconds till Mr. Fallen even has a reveal, and that turret has to be destroyed. Has to be, there we go. Has to be destroyed. Had a little bit of armor, I guess. It bought full shields. Lead down to 48. Kushner, though, behind this box. He wasn't able to find value last time. That very same smoke ended up giving them a way back out. Now the jump on top of the box is what takes him down. Elite and Brave, the last 2 players. Okay, Braves, he's played this all round. He's been so slow, so methodical in clearing these corners, and now he's got the timing near perfect. It all depends on which way Mr. Fallen's looking. He's swapping his vision between the 2 angles, and if he turns at just the right moment, he'll catch Brave. BBL, nothing is going right for this squad with Elite on 48 HP, 1 versus 2, and a spike still to be defused. No time and no chance for BBL. 9-3. FUT and Liquid fans alike rejoicing, as this first half seems to have set us up for a 2-0 victory for FUT. BBL have had a phenomenal season, and now they stand in a position where the choice of this series was top of their group or not in playoffs, and the latter is looking so much more likely.
That round was just pure pain. Like, it felt like they just choked it away. Like, the reason I didn't like the position from Bora at that stage is you have a huge advantage. There's no trade. There's no one that can get anywhere near that fight. Leave the position, fall back, play as a team. But instead, it was just isolated fights. You give those isolated fights to the players of FUT, to players like Cracks, Mr. Fallen, you're asking to lose that round, and there have been blunders. Big blunders that might just cost them absolutely everything. We've talked about 9-3 curses, fight backs to write home about, or BBL need to pull off an impeccable comeback. And as said, the problems of this comp before that FUT had diminished. That dart's not going to clear. Cracks are out of captain, but Bora has at least done a little bit of extra damage. Getting themselves further forward, but not committed to that plant just yet. He's still got the wall available to him.
BBL would be finding a record, I believe, if they lose this one, Tom. No team who's played 2 games in the week has lost both games. What a time.
It's not a record anyone wants.
No, no, I don't think it's one they're aiming for.
No.
Especially after the season. What a heartbreak it would be. It could be, and it might be. Plan to come through, Bora barely dodging that. Shock dart, but not the right click. Ada Captain's caught him with that. Advantage now to FUT. They found the pistol round to start this out, and by God, BBL need the pistol round to at least give them that leg up in this half. they're always slow to start, not just in maps, but in halves as well, and they cannot afford for that trend to continue here. 4 players fighting this choke point. Flash is good, but no follow-up on the back of it. Reveal, catches CNED, wallbang, taking him down. Cracks, though, backing him up on the side angle. CNED, 7 HP, and he's gone running in! Just CNED things. 10 rounds now for FUT, and they don't lose a single player on the way back through. If that's not a death sentence for BBL, I don't know what is.
I'd love to know like a stat of like his headshot percentage once he's below 10 HP.
It's insane.
It's 100. It's 100.
I think you're right, Tom.
Like it just seems like the second that happens, CNED is just truly unstoppable. Oh, he actually didn't get a body shot there. 98%.
Stats don't lie, but Tom does. That's what I've learned today.
10-3. Heartbreak looking more and more likely and a top spot in the group for FUT. The Na'Vi fans won't be happy either.
Right here.
We get to watch them play potentially a little bit more, but that's about the only positive.
I'll never say no to more Na'Vi VODs. But ahead of an international event, I think that's the last thing they want.
Toxins going up.
10-3.
Single elimination. I don't think anyone wants that.
Very true.
FUT might avoid that.
And BBL a 4 spot here, Tom. The attacking side wants to move into A and find success here. They could have played 11-3 and fought with rifles, but their best chance is to interrupt them here and now through a smoke. Mr. Fallen picks up the first. There's another. As Ana Captain eliminates Brave Viper Util down and out. Post plant ability, not even worth talking about because they have to get the plant down first. And the spike is in the open. They're about to swing 3 players from FUT on the back of the side, and a great transfer from Kushner. Good damage. But it's not enough. Not unless Elite can pull out a 1 versus 4. Ada and CNED, 1 shot to the body, but he won't get a chance. CNED again on 4 HP, swings in and claims a headshot. There's a bit of a pattern with this guy.
The fact
but he's only got 9 kills. Are most of his kills on this map with like sub 10 HP?
Probably. I was about to say he hasn't really been needed as much in this one. Mr. Fallen 17-7, Ana Captain 17-6. The fact is, this team has had depth for quite a while, but the additions they've made have been great. But it's actually the core in this map. They've been even better. 11-3. Few, in fact, maybe just one, have managed to make this happen. That is not the start they're looking for. CNED immediately pops the head of Pora. And with what they've got in this round, taking an early loss, not what was needed.
He almost gets baited into it as well, Tom. The deep knife means that he can take 1 step forward and not get caught by it. Maybe get a good flank timing, something like that. But he didn't account for CNED being on top yellow, watching the angle, ripping his head off. Weak weapons across the board for BBL. Barely any weapons left. Mr. Fall, I don't think he's even seeing these players. He's just spamming it down. Ana Captain's definitely got his eyes on the prize. 12-3. 1 more round to put FUT in a position I can't imagine that I'm actually witnessing. In a spot where they eliminate regional rivals BBL after a lights-out season. BBL being in playoffs 2 weeks ago was no question in my mind that we were going to see it. But here we are.
It's almost, it's bittersweet. They beat Na'Vi this season. They beat Heretics this season.
Yep.
They beat Koi. That's kind of cool. But then they lost to Giant X. That was the map that kind of did them in. That will be the one that probably haunts them. I think facing FUT was always going to be a nightmare. They've started this round off well, though. Very well, in fact. The aggression of the side of FUT for once has been punished. It wasn't much in the last map, and it hasn't been in this one. Mr. Fallen. And Yedajaya, the final piece to the puzzle of them getting their first round on this side. Even still, it's easier said than done. He's completely surrounded, so I don't think any miracles will happen this time. Yedajaya hoping to pull off one of his own, but Reezy's quick to make sure that doesn't happen.
12-4. 8 in a row on the attacking side for an overtime to push us to a map 3 and to what was formerly that 82nd province, the Istanbul for them. For BBL, though, that's no longer the case. Even going on to this map, FUT look better on map number 3. And there's a long road to go before they can even consider that.
The fact is, for them at this stage, That's irrelevant. The main thing, make playoffs. Anything else is gravy, but for that they need 8 rounds in a row before they can even think about what will happen on Ascent. And I'll be honest, I don't think we're gonna get even close. FUT have been so good. Operator now in for CNED. Hunter's Fury available, and the ult on the other side is a res, so unless it's gonna be an early pick in an awkward position, Kushner is just looking to try and take the fight. As said, on this side, it's always more difficult. Him running that Omen doesn't allow for the same sort of shenanigans we see from the opposing side, and Pora might be going down here as well. He's managed to dodge and survive for the moment.
For the moment, yeah. That moment quickly passed. 3 players staring at him once the wall goes down. Defuse tapped, but not stuck just yet. FUT baiting them into fights. Shot from CNED with the dash on out as they reset. Wanting to go on the back of, I thought, a flash, but no, in fact, it's a nade that gets thrown through. ytcN drop. Push out of Kushner is perfect. Sure, CNED picks up one, but the time now running low with players still to be found. They're still finding them, though. Spray out of Brave, good to catch out of Captain, and Elites on the off angle for more. There's still some life left in this game for BBL. They won't be broken just yet.
Yeah, onto this attack. They're starting to get there, and the economy isn't going to be there, at least for now. Of course, for FUT, they can take a lot of these rounds quite easy at this stage, and I see CNED having a Blade Storm, and I'm still nervous.
Emote modu almayın chat anlamında aç dedim. Metin, sub modu alır mısın tekrardan?
Still pumped, at least. That's the good sign. That's the most important thing, really. Is still having that mental strength to look to try and climb back in these rounds. FUT have won a couple of rounds that they never should have had. The round of Anna Captain in the Viper's Pit, the 2 versus 4 that ensued towards the end of the half. And now it's all about trying to stabilize, trying to get back some of the magic that we've seen throughout the entirety of this split. FUT have had a blip or 2 of their own, but their season has been sublime. And while this man up close, he should be dead, but you always question if he's going to pull something off.
To be honest, it's CNED I look at in this round with the Blade Storm. Everybody else can do damage. They can pull them off with just Sheriffs, but these rounds with the Blade Storm is where everything can go right for CNED. No updraft to work with, and he, well, 1 of 6 knives was out. The wrong one, though. Kushner able to find that. Now up top, following up on another 3 kills for him, and it looks like they've locked in the anti-thrifty. With only damage being the name of the game, and one that won't really matter at 12-5.
For it to look like he was going to try and fragment the dart. I'm like, I would be very impressed. That's the lineup I don't have. 12-6.
Abi o kadar fazla
3 in a row.
Ki yani hiçbir rounda sevinemiyorum ya. O kadar fazla round verdik
just
ki
to take us to overtime. But we are starting to see some of those stars get some of their flair back. Kushner climbing that board every round that passes. We need to see the best we've ever had from him. And we need some of the other stars to wake up. Elite's been a little bit more quiet than what we've seen throughout the season. He was top rated in the whole tournament going into this match. CNED was behind him. I say was because I doubt he is anymore, especially after map 1. I can't believe he stuck this.
At 12-6, sticking this ult all the way through. It's being watched. Ada Captain knows this is a possibility. Fighting up close. ytcN not expected after CNED's initial kill, and they make it out, avoiding Kushner. They're watching their back. They're aware that this is an angle he could be on, and it's all down to the timing. The swing from CNED gets the trade. The advantage stays in their hands. They made the mistake of tagging him down to 20 HP. That's where he's been hitting every single shot. He's been unkillable. Once he goes low, the ult is used to finally deal with CNED, to equalize the numbers, and perhaps get them a plant through on this side. Shock dart. Oh no! Pours down in the open. That's the spike. I mean, they can just about reach it by the looks of things.
I got the spike.
And they will do just that. But the advantage given away, and ytcN has ultimate online. The lockdown could be used at any moment just to force these players back with 40 seconds left. Time is a big deal for BBL. They can't go rotating to the other side. Commitment to this plant and post plants. They want to pick ahead of it. Razy can't find a single player. Backs off with the reveal. There'll be no further utility in play with that knife. Catching both. Nice shot for Cracks. Trying to get ahead of the fight was a